This is Between the Uprights.
Football is life. The rest is just details.
Here are your hosts, Joe, Matt, and Chris.
Tampa Bay looked like they were down and out. They had a 4-game skid, included losses to the Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, and 49ers. And since then, granted, the competition hasn't been all that tough. It was against the Giants, Panthers, Raiders, and Chargers. They're on a 4-game win streak. And Baker Mayfield is a top 5 statistical quarterback in the NFL. It's all coming together for the Bucs at the perfect time. Bucky Irving looks like one of the best running backs to be drafted this year. You have Mike Evans back, healthy, catching bombs, running up all kinds of points. He had a great game this weekend against the Chargers, absolutely balled out in a win, 40-17 against a pretty good Chargers defense. And the Bucs have sole control of the NFC South, and it looks like it's going to stay that way as their schedule down the road is very, very cakewalk. They have the Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints to round out the year. They have exactly 1 game up on Atlanta, who hasn't looked good. Multiple things coming out about Kirk Cousins. He needs to play better. In fact, him and his coach both came out and agreed that he needs to play better. That tells you all you need to know about what's going on in Atlanta. But you know what? I was here for the Bucs topic last week, but we cut it because we weren't sure that they were going to really do us justice. We wanted to see what they did against the Chargers. They fucking delivered, baby. They fucking delivered. Baker Mayfield's getting comparisons to how he looked back at Oklahoma, walking the sidelines, grabbing his nuts, telling people to go suck his nuts and shit like that. I'm fucking here for it, Baker. You do your thing, baby. Fucking in on it. But the real question is, as the Bucs sit as the 3 seed, and they would be inviting in right now the Green Bay Packers if it ended today, can the Bucs, who have turned it on, they're healthy at the wide receiver minus Chris Godwin, they have a good running back core, the offensive line is looking good, the defense has been performing pretty well. They're actually not bad defensively, and points against their 19th, but their offense is top 5 in just about everything. I think this defense is serviceable. So I'm going to go to Matt first on this one. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fire some cannons and make some noise in the playoffs this year?
No, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot fire the cannons and make some noise in the playoffs this year. Listen, when it was me and Chris a couple weeks ago, we talked about is Kirk Cousins washed or not, right? Or Joe, were you there too? Were you there for that one?
Yeah, I was there. I remember. I saw the washing machine logo that I created.
That's right. Yeah, you were there.
Pretty
we had the whole laundry discussion. Yeah, that was one for the Between the Uprights catalog right there. But when we were talking about that, I said I looked down the schedules and I was like, the Bucs are winning this division. I mean, the Bucs schedule down the stretch, you just talked about it, is what probably the easiest in the NFL. I don't have the numbers on that, but I would guess it's probably the easiest in the NFL. They played the Chargers last week. That was easily their toughest game, and their 3 before that were easy. The 3 after that were easy. I think they're going to cakewalk their way to this division. Now, I do like a lot of things about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The things that I do like, they're 3rd in the league in yards per game. They're 4th in the league in points per game. This is a very, very prolific offense. This is Baker Mayfield, like you mentioned, Joe. He's slinging that thing around like he is from Oklahoma. I don't know about his nuts and all that, but he's slinging that thing around like crazy, okay? And he is balling out, and especially on 3rd down. This team is 3rd in the league on 3rd downs as well, 48.3% of their 3rd downs. Now, this is a team that's also, with Todd Bowles as the head coach, very conservative on 4th downs. They only have 12 attempts on 4th down this year. That's tied for the 3rd fewest in the NFL, but they convert those at a high clip. They're 8 for 12. That's tied for 6th percentage-wise in the NFL. So, again, 3rd or 4th down, you can rely on Baker Mayfield to come through, and he is making big plays. But, yeah, Bucs are amazing on 3rd and 4th down, so that is something that I really, really like with Tampa Bay. But the biggest change for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the last couple of years, because in 2022, Brady's last year with the Bucs, they were the worst rush offense in the NFL and one of the worst ever, getting just 77 yards per game on the ground. 2023, they improved 12 yards per game, averaging 89 yards per game, but they were still worse in the NFL. So 2022 and 2023, easily the worst rush offense in the NFL. But this season in 2024, they have had a 55-yard per game improvement. They're now averaging 144 yards on the ground and have turned into a top 5. They are 5th in the NFL in rush yards per game. And that is in large part due to they have a 3-headed monster in their backfield. Bucky Irving has been an amazing pick as a rookie. 5.6 yards per carry to go along with his dynamic in the passing game that he adds. He's already at 850 rushing yards on the season. He has been an amazing pickup. And him and Rachaad White have been an incredible duo in that backfield. Rachaad White's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. He's also really effective in the pass game, and he's had some solid rushing work this year as well. And when Sean Tucker's got in there as well, he's been great as well, 6.3 yards per carry, and we saw that amazing game he had with the Saints earlier in the season when one of those guys was out. So again, that's a three-headed monster in the backfield that they have not had in previous years, and they are doing an amazing job running the ball. And Baker Mayfield, he's running the ball more as well. He's got 266 yards this season on 5.7 to carry. So Baker's doing his thing, getting out of the pocket as well. Now, the things I don't like about Tampa Bay, defense and turnovers are going to hold them back, okay? They're 27th in the league defensively in yards, and they're 19th in points per game. Their secondary, especially their corners, are bad. They have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, and Antoine Winfield is hurt as well. So that is a huge, huge loss. He's one of the best safeties in football. So him being down and, being compromised down the stretch is really, really going to hurt the Bucs. They've also got the 12th most turnovers in football. That doesn't sound like a lot, but they've got the second most among projected playoff teams, and Baker's got the second most picks in football, only behind Kirk Cousins. So he's not doing a Jameis Winston. It's not 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, but he is having a lot of trouble with his turnovers right now. He's second in the league in picks. So he's got to clean that up if they do want to make a playoff run. Also, there's Baker Mayfield's safety blanket. We saw how valuable this guy was early in the season. Chris Godwin, he's going to be out for the season, obviously, with that dislocated ankle. So I don't like that at all for the Tampa Bay Bucs. So I do like the Bucs. I love Baker Mayfield. I think he's the turnaround story for Baker Mayfield has been awesome. We see Sam Darnold kind of doing the same thing in Minnesota this year. So I love to see Baker Mayfield turn it around, especially same thing with him coming from two of the worst franchises to go to from a quarterback perspective in the Browns and the Panthers, and now turning it around here in Tampa Bay is an awesome thing to see. I just don't think they have the defense, and I think they're going to get bounced in round one. If they play we disagreed on this pre-show, Chris, but I think if they play Minnesota round one, I'm taking Minnesota in that one. Even Minnesota on the road in Tampa Bay, I would take Minnesota in that game just because they're a more complete overall team, and I think Baker and Sam Darnold are on similar levels right now from the quarterback perspective. So, listen, but at the end of the day, they're going to win this division because, again, I think they're better than the Atlanta Falcons. You mentioned it, Joe. The Falcons are struggling, and, Kirk Cousins, like I just mentioned, he leads the league in interceptions. They got to figure something out there. But they're going to win the division, but I think it's either a wild card or divisional round exit this year for the Bucs.
I mean, there's some problems with this team. I'm not going to be the first one to come out here and say, they're going to the Super Bowl. It's not happening. I don't think they're doing that, right? Do I think they could win a playoff game? Absolutely. Do I think that they could upset a team in the second round? Possibly. Depends on how the chips fall, right? It depends on who comes, because if they can hold on to the 3 seed, they could potentially host 2 playoff games, right? They have the capability, possibly, depending on how things work out, depending on who gets the 2 seed. Because if the Lions get the 2 seed, right, they hang on. Are we confident that defense is going to hold up in a playoff game? Possibly. They'll have a home game there, maybe. How all that works out, we don't know. But what I do know is that they were going to have a pretty decent chance to host 1 playoff game, which I do like their chances hosting more than on the road. I think they do a better job at home. That crowd's in there for them there. I like their chances at home better. But I think they could steal a playoff game. I really do. I think that Baker Mayfield and the way he's playing, the energy that's in that team, how they feel about each other, they're playing a very complete game on offense. I think the defense, like you said, has its weaknesses, but hasn't had, the greatest games. But then again, I think that, we've any given Sunday, you never know. But Chris, I'm going to go with you on this one. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do what I just said? Can they win a playoff game this year, and can they make some noise? Is there a possibility they possibly could win 2 playoff games?
Okay, now you're stretching it. I got the 1.
I want 2, damn it.
I was with you with the 1. 2, I mean, any given Sunday, I suppose. So look, with Tampa, I've been a fan. And first off, can I just say, can we please give head coach Todd Bowles some fucking credit? Okay, he's come in to the Tampa Bay when nobody was giving them any type of shot at anything. After he took over, and what he's done, if I'm not mistaken, he's taken them to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years that he's been there. He's only been there 3 years. And they've consistently moved up as far as what their schedule looks like, what their what everything is as far as what their records look like. Everything has continuously moved up. There's not a lot of back moving with Todd Bowles. So I think he deserves some credit. As much as we talk about Dan Campbell Now he's turning around the Lions. I think we should be giving Todd Bowles his credit, his due as well. Okay, that's first off. So going on. As far as the Bucs are concerned, given I agree with Matt surprisingly as far as like their win streak at the moment, who they've won against. Right, I know, very very low key. Um, I did enjoy the last week game that they had. Um, I think with LA, they did have one key. I would say it's a win, but the problem with the Chargers is that their wide receiver rookie quarterback, the wide receiver rookie McConkey was out. And I think he's been a huge wide receiver option for them. I've been a McConkey fan since the draft. I've been trying to pull him up. I've got so much hate about it. I'm still going to keep on that train because he's almost at 1,000 yards already as a rookie. So those who said that he wasn't worth going to the Bills can kiss my ass. Anyways, moving on. Um, but as far as I do feel like they are going to win the division. I think I said at the beginning of the year that I felt that they would win the division. I did not trust Atlanta at all. Not even based on what was on the sheets. I didn't trust them. I'm still on that same boat. I don't trust them at all in any degree. I think they have a lot of really good players, and I think it's sad that the amount of players that they have on that team, and the amount of just pure talent that is on that team, like there's no reason why they should be struggling the way that they're struggling. That shouldn't be happening. But moving on. So with that, I do think Tampa Bay will end up winning their division, which good for them. Um, I am going to disagree with Matt. I don't care who they take. If someone is coming into Tampa Bay, the first round, I think they take them out. I do. I think Baker Mayfield is playing probably his top. I think in his entire career, like his top season, I think he's doing fantastic. Yes, he's gonna have high interceptions. We know this. He is just one of those guys. Like he's gonna pull it all out. He's gonna throw the bar down the field. He doesn't really give a shit who's down the field. He's his guy. Sometimes his guy comes up with it. Sometimes they don't. It's okay. That's the type of guy he is. But you know he's gonna lay it out. I think the defense, as bad as they have been, I do feel like the last few weeks that they have kind of shown that they're kind of molding together. Their running backs are definitely out there. You know, was it like 140 plus a game? So if you can consistently run the ball, then you don't really need your quarterback to do a ton. You need him to make the throws when they're open, but if you can get your running backs to show up the way they have been showing up in the last 3 or 4 games, I think that gives them a good shot. So I will say I do see them winning at least one playoff game. I see them going probably to the divisional. Now, who they play in the divisional is obviously going to determine if they end up in the NFC Championship. I can't say based on who's going to be there. I don't know. I don't foresee them maybe getting that second win, but I do feel like they'll at least get one, which is good for them. I mean, given they weren't given a shot starting the season, nobody really gave them a chance because of what everybody expected Atlanta to do. So with that, yes, I think they've done fantastic. I think they've been kind of a low key outlier that nobody's really paid attention to, and good for Baker Mayfield. You know, he's gotten the due dress that he's absolutely deserved, and I think he's balling. He has great running backs. He has great people around him. You know, unfortunately, he loses his top one of his top wide receivers, but he still has the number one wide receiver. So you know, there's no pain there. I mean, we're working with Evans. There's not a lot to cry about, right? This man is probably about to have like his 10th or 11th year hitting 1,000 yards, easy. I wish the Patriots would have picked him up, but nonetheless, yeah. So I do see them at least winning one. I can't go with you on that train ride, Joe, as far as winning out, getting into the NFC Championship. That one I can't attend it with, but I will attend at least the first. I do think they get at least a one win in the playoffs.
Hey, I'll take one game. I'll take one. I'm fine with one. I mean, I think Tampa Bay is on a great track right now. And to your point, they've done, granted, we've already said, not against the best talent recently, but 15 points per game is what they're averaging over their 4-game win streak. That's what the points they've allowed. 15 per game. That is a 8 point, I believe, 3-point drop from their actual ranking previous to this 4-game win streak, where they're really turning on and getting together. And like we said, not the greatest competition,
Well,
However,
Justin Herbert and the Chargers was impressive on their behalf, though. That was a very impressive defensive performance, holding that offense to only 17 points, and the Chargers offense in that second half looked lost. So yeah, I'll give them their credit on that one. That was an impressive defensive performance on their behalf.
And let's not discount the Panthers here. They have looked significantly better after Bryce Young's benching. The team is really playing a higher competitive level. So I don't think you can really count out the Panthers in that overtime win against the Panthers there. Even though it was a Chuba Hubbard fumble, I believe that Panthers team is tracking in the right direction. So I actually give them a little bit of credit for how they won that game, especially a tight divisional game on the road. Those are not easy. I don't give a fuck what the record is. Okay, divisional games on the road are never easy to win. Doesn't matter if the team's 1-13. I remember, like as I said, Patriots fan. I remember when the Dolphins went 1-15. You know what they beat? You know who they beat that year to go 1-15? The fucking Patriots. You know what the Patriots did? They won the fucking Super Bowl that year. All right, it was fucking terrible. All right, that was a Wildcat game. 33-6 or whatever the fuck it was, dude. They fucking sucked and we lost to them in Miami like we always did. It killed me, but that's what I'm saying. Divisional games are tough. I like what I'm seeing from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. I like what I'm seeing from Baker Mayfield right now, and I am telling you, I am a fan of what I'm seeing here, and I think they're at least winning one playoff game. Hey, Tampa, you're getting one, baby. Get your playoff tickets together, Tampa. You're getting a home game. You better show out for your team.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.